Hi, I'm Jim Clark, Director of SculptureWalk. We're now going into our 16th year in 2019. We had 137 entries that came in from artists all over the country. We selected 59 sculptures this year because we had 3 new sponsors come on board. So we increased the number of sculptures by 3. And very pleased with the quality and variety of the sculptures this year. Sizes are great. We have a lot of big sculptures this year. We have all the materials that I think that are available. We have, of course, bronze, we have marble, we have aluminum, we have steel. I think we even have some wood in a large sculpture in front of Wells Fargo. So tremendous amount of variety, and also a lot of figurative, modern, abstract, and whimsical. So very pleased with the variety of sculptures this year.
Name's Travis Sorensen. I'm from Belfast, South Dakota. Cimarron is the name of it. It's a bighorn sheep. It's made out of recycled stainless steel. It's from a mall security gate. It was like a 20-foot wide door. We cut it into pieces and then hand bend it and cut it and weld it all together, I guess. So I like to make an impact with the recycling in lots of pieces. There's close to 600 different pieces in it. In each of my larger pieces, I try to hide a hidden kind of a trademark and sense. Last year I had a little small dragonfly hidden up inside the head, and this year I'm not sure yet, but we'll see what it is. So we'll have to try to see if we can find it.
My name is Wendy Meyer. I'm from Sioux Falls. This is my first sculpture, and it's called Wind Caller. She's a spirit looking for the wind to bring in something that she's lost. In order to coax the wind, she's dressed up like a bird, thinking that might help. For a number of years, I've seen SculptureWalk and watched people get their sculptures in and watched them get excited about it and cast things, and we worked really hard to get them out. And getting your own sculpture in SculptureWalk is kind of like I get to join a very classy club of artists who have actually succeeded in communicating something with their art. And it feels really good to be recognized as one of those people who can speak in 3 dimensions.
This is even hard for me to believe, but with this group of 2019 sculptures, we will now have exhibited 836 sculptures on the sidewalks of downtown.
I'm Aidan Demaray.
And I'm Tim James, and I'm from Mankato, Minnesota.
And I'm from Janesville, Minnesota. And this is Outer Limits.
Outer Limits. It's kind of an abstract design. We use some of these are test welds from Aidan's students, so there's kind of the practice welds, and we thought it was a cool texture, so we incorporated that into some of our pieces.
Lots of different welds go into this, have gone into this piece. Each, like Tim said, each one of these pieces, either a 4x6 or a 6x6 section of it, came from my students at JWP High School in Janesville, Minnesota.
I guess the inspiration is we like spheres, and we always start with kind of a sphere and how to make it. And these are all end cuts from square tubing and pipes that we just welded together. We made a plaster cast and kind of set them in and welded them together and created the sphere. And the concept drawing was a sphere inside of this kind of big twisted C, so it just kind of led to that.
The SculptureWalk Virtuoso certification program is one that we started 3 years ago. I searched the internet, couldn't find any type of certification for sculptors. Of course, many of them get their Masters of Fine Arts, but and many artists that are considered masters have been at it for many years and have sold a lot of sculptures. But I haven't found any certification program anywhere. So I thought, let's give that a try and see if we can accomplish that for our artists. So to accomplish Virtuoso certification, an artist has to win one of the Best of Show awards 3 times during their career. Best of Show awards are judged by their peers, and they really appreciate that. They really like being judged by their peers.
My name is Stephen Meck. I'm from Burr Oak, Iowa, little town in the northeast corner of Iowa in Winneshiek County. Behind me is my piece called De-Accelerator. It's composed of industrial detritus that I've located in salvage yards, recombined and altered in ways as to make a new form out of it. My work is by nature largely abstract, generally doesn't depict animals or objects in the real world, but I hope it being out here on the street, that when people pass by it, they have to have some kind of encounter with it. And it's also my hope that my sculpture, as a person passes by it from day to day, they find themselves feeling better about life in general, and they might not even know why.
My name is Jerry Nelson. I'm from Clear Lake, Iowa. I've been making sculpture now for about 20 years, but now I've been being involved in these sculpture walks just for the last 3 years. Incredible opportunity. The piece I made was called Food Chain, and it's really about the hubris of people thinking that we're at the top of the food chain, because my little guy at the top of all these fish that are about to eat him is about to be eaten himself. So that's kind of what my piece is about. It's more of a fun, whimsical piece for people to kind of think about, are we really at the top of the food chain or not here? So that's where I'm at on this. I am totally blown away by Sioux Falls and what they've accomplished here over the last 16 years of revitalizing this entire downtown with all the sculpture they have here. Is just absolutely amazing. It's just totally amazing. I am blown away and honored to be part of it.
Every year, all of our artists get a $1,000 honorarium for participating in SculptureWalk. And we try to sell their sculptures and lease their sculptures. What I really enjoy, besides seeing people enjoying all the sculptures every year, is writing checks to the artists. That's kind of a big deal for me and for them, because they participate in SculptureWalk not only for the visibility, and not only because we take really good care of them, but because they want to sell and lease sculptures. And we've had success at that, and that's why they keep coming back. We have sold 196 sculptures over our 15-year history. That's a 25% performance, and the artists tell us that's really, really good, and that's why they keep coming back, and we thank everyone that's buying sculptures. It's good for the artists, it's good for SculptureWalk, and it's good for them, and it's good for our community.
My name is Hannah Segerman, and I am from Cedar Falls, Iowa. My artwork is titled Surround. It's abstractly based off of like household common objects and made out of stainless and mild steel. I guess I'm also going to school to be an art educator, and just thinking about having being able to teach them about this and this opportunity, and getting to get work out there in the world and then have other people enjoy it. I think it's just the best part of it, and it's really rewarding. I was, I think, in my third year of school at the University of Northern Iowa, and I was only an art education major, and I was just really enjoying sculpture class, and I just kept taking it, and then found out that I loved it, and I applied for the BFA program and got accepted, and now I'm making public work and gallery work as well with my art education stuff, so it was just something that I was I really need to do.
The SculptureWalk calendar year really starts in July, when we send out the call to sculptors to over 600 sculptures around the country. And we give them until October 1st. That's a deadline for their entries. They each have up to 5 entries that they can submit. This year we had 137 entries, 59 sculptures exhibited from 53 artists, 16 states, 10 new artists, 10 artists from South Dakota, and 7 from Sioux Falls. And again, we get a lot of artists coming back, and it's really good to get new artists because we get some new variety into the program every year.
I'm Fred Klingelhofer, and I'm from Des Plaines, Illinois. This is the first setup here in Sioux Falls that I've done. And the piece is called Common Thread. So I've got 3 abstract figures that are recognizing they may be beings of some kind. We see they're all alike. There are subtle differences between them. Within those differences, there's the common thread that joins them together that makes them a group that we recognize. And the idea here is that we recognize differences between ourselves, but we're more alike than we are different. And that was the idea behind this. The idea with this is that these are more isolated so that you think about what the characters are rather than being a part of it. It's more to be thought about than experienced.
I'm Bobby Carlisle from Loveland, Colorado, and my piece here is called Reeds. The meaning behind her, she's a fountain, and water comes out here and drains through here. It can be set up at home for a fountain. She's to be standing on the edge of a body of water, just looking out into the distance for her lover, for her husband, her boyfriend who's gone and out to sea. I have another piece called Mystic Forest. It's a boy standing on a tree stump, holding up birds in his hands, but he's got a pixie riding a cat behind him on the side. He's got a little fairy over here. She's putting her slipper on with some toadstools and toads around her.
The installation takes place on Saturday morning, first weekend in May, and we have 3 teams of volunteers. We have 2 teams downtown here in Phillips Avenue, one on the west side, one on the east side. Most of our volunteers have been with us from the beginning. We really appreciate them because we couldn't pull it off without them. But now they're pretty seasoned. They know what they're doing.
My piece this year is An Angel in Contemplation. This piece, like a lot of my artwork, just started as a figure study, and as it sat on my shelf. I actually did it about 10 years ago, the figure study, and last year I saw it sitting on my shelf and I started seeing some shapes that I wanted to introduce to it and make it a little more dynamic, and those shapes became wings. And so I'm mostly just working with compositional elements and shapes more than a specific narrative. I just want to make a beautiful piece of artwork. This is an edition of 19. Last year, when I first finished the piece, I entered it into the Portrait Society's international competition, and it won first place in sculpture. I've had it out for about a year now, and anyways, now I have a casting here in Sioux Falls. I think this is my 11th or 12th year in the SculptureWalk, and just excited to be a part of this every year.
I'm Anthony Guntrin. I think this is my 7th year here in SculptureWalk. I've got family here. I love this place, so it's fun to come back every year and do this. This is Space Cat. Particularly, this is Articus. And as far as inspiration, really trying to get a little bit more humorous. Sometimes as artists, we take our work a little too seriously. So although if you really want to know the truth, when it comes down to it, it becomes serious after hours and hours and hours of time into these things. But I wanted to give somebody walking by a little playful interaction with the sculpture and think about social commentary and memes. And there's a ton of 2D memes out there of space cats, but I've never seen a space cat sculpture. So I decided to make one. And it's playful and imaginative and obviously not very well protected, but that's kind of the joke, if you will. So hopefully people get the charm of it as well. So
Several years ago, when the Prairie Center was completed, we started the SculptureWalk of Vera McKinnon indoors throughout the campus. Really some nice sculptures that people really enjoy, both visitors and patients at the hospital. Art is healing, and that was the purpose of doing that, and I think it works quite well. And the way the sculptures are selected is that the artists that are accepted into SculptureWalk downtown have the opportunity then of submitting entries for the Vera McKinnon indoor program. And they enjoy doing that, they enjoy participating, they get a $500 honorarium and opportunity to sell sculptures there. And so that's been a successful program. The University of Sioux Falls has had SculptureWalk sculptures on their campus for many years. We install those, most of those come from downtown and go up, we move those up onto the campus, and they have 11 sculptures there, new ones every year. They also compete for People's Choice and Best of Show. So the artists really like participating in the university's program. We're very pleased to have other satellite programs in South Dakota. Watertown has 14 sculptures that they switch out every year. And then also the University of South Dakota and Vermilion have a total of 12 sculptures that they switch out every 2 years.
Robert Brubaker from Cornville, Arizona. And this will be the 4th piece that I've had here in Sioux Falls at this fine program, the SculptureWalk program. The piece behind me is titled To Meet the Storm. And it does have the title has a personal meaning because a very good friend of mine, well, more than a good friend of mine, chose to go ahead and meet the storm while I was working on this piece, and hence the title. At that point, she gave up chemo and went into hospice. So it is a very personal title. And other than that, it's normal anthropomorphic piece of mine. Nice bareheaded character. He's looking forward to living here for a year through all the various weather that Sioux Falls will have to offer. So it's nice to be here, and this is a wonderful program to be part of.
If you're wondering how to find the sculptures in SculptureWalk downtown, just go to the brochure box, which is attached on the historic light posts on every block downtown. Take out a brochure. You can see the photos of the sculptures, also the map, which corresponds with the number of each sculpture, and also the voting ballot. So at the end of your walk, be sure to stop and vote for your favorite sculpture.
Hi, my name's Clark Martnick. I'm from Mitchell, South Dakota. This is my piece installed at Sioux Falls SculptureWalk. It's titled Lovers. It is a hand-forged solid steel piece of artwork featuring a fantastic pass-through. The inspiration by this piece was dedicated basically to my wife. Of course, its title Lovers says it all. This is a man and a woman in love. It's kind of their spirits entwined for eternity. You can see it, kind of the infinity type of shape. I made this piece depicting the devotion of love between two people. Fantastic piece. Come down and take a look at it. Super excited to be here. This is a great sculpture tour. Everybody come and see all the great pieces.
You know, the greatest pleasure for all of us at SculptureWalk is seeing kids and adults, multiple generations, engaging with and taking pictures with the sculptures. It is an open-air sculpture gallery for all to enjoy. And we know it's part of the economic development engine bringing people into downtown from our neighborhoods and visitors from the interstate to enjoy SculptureWalk and all that the city has to offer. And we want to thank our artists, our sponsors, our volunteers, the city of Sioux Falls, and we invite everyone to come downtown and see what our world-class artists have created just for you.